And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Darren Smith along with Steve Walls, and we'd like to welcome you to another season. I'm not even going to tell you the number because then that'll probably date us. But welcome to the pregame cheat sheet. Again, Darren Smith along with Steve Walls. You can follow us on social media at Darren Smith NFL, at Steve Walls KC Steve. We're back for another season, giving the fans what they most desire, our faces and our thoughts and opinions as it relates to the Kansas City Chiefs. And going into another season, this is going to be a lot of pressure, so to speak, but a lot of questions that hopefully will get answered. So as we prepare for the first game against the Los Angeles Rams at the top of the hour at 3:00 Central Time, your initial thoughts on this Kansas City Chiefs team returning here in 2026?
First of all, thank you for the introduction, and I'm happy to be here, man. It's GHA Field is no longer. We don't have to just say Arrowhead now.
Well, I always said Arrowhead. It's like their mama named them Arrowhead. We're going to call them Arrowhead.
Yeah, but no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this team can do, how they can bounce back from last year. I think it kind of left a sour taste in all of their mouths and ours as well, just watching the team. And we knew what the expectations are every year. You know, it's Super Bowl or bust. Correct. And it's not every NFL team can say that. And I really feel like that's what they live by, because they've been to the promised land so many times. It's like, over the last 10 years, they are the team to beat. And last year was just kind of a year that was like, made you scratch your head. And it was like an outlier, and not their norm.
We are inside the Arrowhead Stadium press box, where we obviously normally sit each season here in Kansas City. But, Steve, you've had a lot of time to spend up at training camp this year, so I want to pick your brain and get some initial thoughts on today's game. Not going to have any Patrick Mahomes. I'm not sure of the other starters that will or will not play in this game. I know we haven't seen the inactives just yet, but what are you looking for in today's game with either the starters either sitting out or have limited series? And also, in addition to that, what are you hoping to see from the backup quarterbacks in Justin Fields and Nussmeier?
I'm looking to see how Justin Fields has improved from the Justin Fields that we know. Yeah. Like, I've watched him pretty much every day at training camp, and he looks the same, like not confident in himself, if that makes sense.
When you say he looks the same, are you saying from his previous stint at other teams, or is there a reason why you feel like, because I know we both saw him during mini camp and back in June before the break, why do you feel like he's been, I guess, looking the same versus improving from what you saw before?
To me, the accuracy hasn't been there, and just the way that the ball is released out of his hand, it just looks weird. And I know we've been fortunate enough to watch, a gunslinger in Patrick Mahomes, but I mean, I've seen quarterbacks play and I know what it's supposed to look like. And it hasn't looked like that with him. And so I really want to be able to see like what he can do. I know I asked him last week about, Andy Reid and being a quarterback whisperer, and he said he's actually learned a lot. And now I take that with a grain of salt. And the reason being is because I understand the fact that Andy can only teach so much in this short window of time that he's had with Justin Fields. So it's going to take some time for him to kind of unlearn some things and then relearn, like kind of a child learning to walk.
How much of his progress would you attest to Worthy, Rice, not really being in the mix a lot due to the limited time in training camp? Obviously, Rice not being at all for mini camp, but Worthy having the yellow jersey on, not really, being able to get out there in the mix, and then, what they've been able to do or not do as much during training camp.
Well, he's had some time to throw to some different wide receivers, and I understand, like, you need the timing and you got to understand your personnel and things like that, but a pass is a pass, regardless of who it is. And I know what I saw, and it's like he still is able to run the ball. I mean, I saw some things as far as red zone, and they may throw him in there to do some fourth if it's a fourth down situation, or if you're in the red zone. And I saw a couple plays where did a quarterback sneak, things like that. But other than that, man, if we see Justin Fields, and I know we'll see him today, but if we see him in the regular season, depending on what he puts on today, I don't know. I just don't know.
Do you think there's a chance that he doesn't make it to the final roster?
Oh no, he's gonna make it.
Okay.
He's not that.
Well, no. But I'm saying to where the Chiefs might look to trade him because what Nussmeier might look like, and of course, they have Oladukin as well on the roster.
No, I think it's a good question. I think he'll make it just because he's an Andy Reid typical quarterback. Like, if you remember how Michael Vick used to play, he was real like twitchy a little bit. Justin Fields has that, except his. Now I've only seen him, against the Chiefs defense, and I haven't seen him yet against another team. But from what I've seen, it's hard to say until we see him, today.
I was speaking with former NFL running back who actually does radio. Has been doing it for 11 years. I just found out when we were eating that Maurice Jones-Drew. Mm-hmm. Maurice Drew-Jones.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, okay, Maurice Jones-Drew. MJD. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about his expectations for Fields, and he was telling me that from his conversation that he heard during the NFL network stuff when they were doing last week, and from his contacts, he said that Fields has not been looking good and has not been picking up the playbook and stuff like that. So again, that is a cause for concern. We'll obviously get a chance to see him at least, I think, for the first half in today's game against the Rams, and so obviously Reid declared Patrick. Who else do you know from Friday did he declare out in today's game?
I wasn't there on Friday, so I didn't get to quite hear exactly who will be starting today.
And we'll find out eventually. I know they're going to bring up an active list to us. So looking at that, what position group are you highlighting, in your opinion, that you want to have, see some questions get answered as we head into season, but starting with today?
We could talk offense, defense.
I'm going to let you pick one side or the other.
I go with defense.
Oh, okay, because I was going with offense.
Yeah, no. The position group I really want to see is the defensive backs. Just trying to figure out, because if you think about just who's back, you have Jaden Hicks, you have Shamari Connor, Noah Williams, and then there's one more.
L'Jarius Sneed. I wanted to ask
L'Jarius Sneed too. But they're all young, like they haven't played together before. Right, like I want to find out, like what are they going to be able to do when it gets, when it's time to let your kahunas drop, and you get in that crunch time. So I really want to be able to see because you got some guys like Alohi Gilman that when I asked him how was the defensive back room, he said everybody's quiet. Shamar kind of second that information as well, and I kind of scratched my head. I'm like, when have you heard of a defensive back room being quiet? Like they're always the other than wide receivers, they're the outgoing. We've been in the Chiefs locker room with those guys over in that corner. I mean, and so Spags, and when I asked Spags about the defensive backs, he said that they're not picking it up as fast as he would like them to.
And and that's the one thing to piggyback off of that. When you feel they're quiet, I'm hoping they're quiet because again they're trying to pick up and they're trying to make sure they learn it. Well, again, you still got to transfer onto the field, and so you have a lot of new bodies. Even though you have someone like L'Jarius Sneed who was back in Kansas City, he's been away for a couple of years now. So it's been actually what 3 years now.
3 years.
Yeah. So I mean, and even though he has the credibility as Spags called him, one of his sons, the sheer fact that they're quiet. I mean, I don't think that should be a negative because they feel like they got to transfer that, and plus you got a lot of new players. You got to transfer that on the film. You can talk the talk, but we all know that Spags' system ain't exactly, I mean, it is kind of rocket science if you don't understand, because that's why he doesn't really play a lot of young players, but that's been his hand that he's been forced.
But the guys that the Chiefs have had over these, I mean, I thought about this the other day. They go from Eric Berry to Tyrann Mathieu to Justin Reed. Yeah. I'm just talking about the leader of the secondary. Yeah. None of those guys were quiet. Right, like Eric Berry a little bit, but not really. He was still vocal. I'm still waiting to have that guy emerge. The guy that has that corner locker right there that people go over there and talk to. I haven't seen that guy out here, and that's Like it was Trent last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Tyron. It was Justin. So
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. And so when I mean by like quiet, I mean the guy not necessarily talking to the media, but the guy that is the guy that's getting everybody together, getting everybody that will emerge as a leader.
No. I mean, that's true. Obviously, when we would show up for the practice in the practice locker room and stuff, yeah, they'd all always be congregating together and. Probably do some things that the NFL would frown upon
Sure.
as relates to certain activities. But no, I get your point. And that is, yeah, I could see where there would be some cause for concerns. But again, we'll get a chance today because and look, and this is another thing too. What we talk about, it's one thing to be going against your own teammates for 2-3 weeks where. Now you get a chance to go against somebody on the opposite team. Maybe that'll bring them up because you actually get a chance to hit somebody that's in a different color jersey.
And I mean, Monsieur Delane hasn't practiced in pads fully like he's had.
That's the concept we're going to have as well. So
yeah, I mean, you want to do it now?
Well, I'll wait until we get to the records. We'll get there. So for me, the group I'm highlighting on offense is going to be the wide receivers. I mean, look, and I'm pretty sure a lot of Chiefs fans have a lot of questions about it because, again, talking to Maurice, we were talking about the wide receiver and how the fact that Mahomes has been blessed with the receivers, but like these last couple of seasons, both Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, they've either been both injured, and in Rice's case, he had the injury on top of the suspension and stuff, and so it's like. They haven't really been out on the field consistently enough, and play at a high level together that that you get a chance to see just how well that they can actually be with Mahomes and as quarterback. And look, I've been on record over the last year, and you may have been as well, but I don't speak for you in this regards that I don't think that the Chiefs are going to re-sign Rashee Rice in this offseason, because. I mean, we just saw these wide receivers getting $35-40 million. I can't see the Chiefs breaking the bank on a wide receiver like that, especially one that's has some issues off the field. And so I've been on record saying that I think that if he has a big year, he'll get a big contract. It'll just be somewhere else. But if he has a big season, I think the Chiefs have a big season because that means that he's doing something that's helping Mahomes, is helping the offense, and that's gonna translate to a big contract with another team. Your thoughts?
Yeah. When you think about the wide receiver core. I really think that over this past couple of years, I mean, Patrick didn't have a good year last year. So I think as a whole, when you look at last year, one's going to equal the other, right? Yeah. Like if Patrick's not having a good year, then of course the wide receivers aren't going to have a good year. And one thing I want to see with them is the fact that how they're able to get open, right? Like the past couple of years, the Chiefs have kind of gotten by having, and no disrespect to Clyde or to Pop, Isaiah Pacheco. They just weren't a legit number one every down running back, right? And now that they have one, it's going to take some relief off of Patrick. It's going to take some relief off of the wide receivers because all teams were doing these past few years is just sitting back and beat us with the run. We'll let you beat us with the run, but we're going to take everything passing wise away. And so I think that took a toll on all these wide receivers. I mean, if they're selling out and going to play you, how are they going to play you with taking away the pass? What can you do?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I tell people all the time, people just thought, a lot of people didn't like McNaghy. I just didn't like the play calling. And, and as such, I always felt that, one of the things that I thought was a downfall was that they focused so much on Mahomes trying to continue to repeat and be in that MVP conversation that it took away from the winning. Yes, they did win the Super Bowl Nagy's first year as OC, but everyone knows that was a defensive-led team.
Sure.
And then the following year, they were in so many one-score games that the ball bounced on their side that allowed them to get to the Super Bowl. But once you got the Super Bowl, we saw what happened in that particular year.
And again, you didn't have a guy that could go get it.
Exactly.
Like Rashee Rice, no discredit to him, but he didn't play half the season.
Yeah.
And still was able to come out and I think 567 yards, 5 touchdowns. So I think if he's able to double that, and then you add in a Tyquan Thornton who's having more I guess, confidence with Mahomes,
Yeah.
with the downfield. They haven't been able to get the downfield ball. Like it was kind of sparse last year. I mean, you saw it some, you didn't see it some
You
games.
really saw with Taekwon, but even then, Mahomes would overthrow him, and then the second
Exactly.
go around is when he would connect, and that was another thing, obviously, to where they just weren't on the same page. And it's funny because when you talk about that, they were working with Mahomes in the offseason of those the previous years, but it just didn't translate onto the field.
Yeah, and Xavier Worthy, he's supposed to be. His speed hasn't translated over to the regular season game. Like he's one of the fastest time in the 40 at the combine, but that hasn't, I guess, translated over. And you look at like a guy like Tyreek Hill, right?
Yeah.
His speed translates.
Yeah.
What he's run, he's going to show you. And I don't know if it's. I just don't know what it is. He could be the downfield threat.
My opinion. I still think he's kind of light, and because being 165, the deep. I mean, if you push him out of bounds, it's one, he's disqualified until he's able to get himself set back in bounds to get the ball, and by that time, the defenders, most of the corners that they're going up against them, they're a lot more physical, so they can utilize, their hands and arms against him and lead him in the direction they want to go, which most of the time is out of bounds.
Yeah, and exactly. So when you think about Xavier Worthy, and that was the thing I was going to say, is like last year, he's got to know where he is on the field.
Yeah.
To be helpful to anyone, you got to know, like, hey, I got to have 2 feet in bounds, or it's not a catch.
Yeah.
So I think, with Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Tyquan Thornton, I think those are going to be your big 3. But then you got Cyrus Allen, who's right in the mix, and I've watched him at camp, and I mean, he's really good.
Yeah. Now even from when they drafted him, I've been high on Cyrus. So it was, even on TV, I always been like, the person I'm looking for, training camp with Cyrus out. And, I've asked Andy Reid a couple of times about Allen, because just in talking to him, even before he got drafted here, his thing was if he came to Kansas City, he wanted to study playbook. He wanted to make sure he knew each position in case, someone got injured or he was asked to step up. He would know, he would know the playbook and know which, where to go, so he can train. And from all accounts, as you mentioned, he's shown that, okay, this guy could be special here with this offense.
He's went to go get it, right? Like, I think he definitely is one to show that has shown up in camp. And then there's another guy, number 7, Amari Evans.
Mm-hmm.
He's worked his way from 3rd string to 2nd string, and I really want to see what he's able to do. A lot of people ain't talking about him. Undrafted guy, and I think he's out of he went to Pitt, and then he went somewhere else, but he was undrafted, and I watched him work for his way from 3rd string, barely getting reps, to all the way up to 2nd string, and so I really want to be able to see what he's able to do today too.
I know I said one offense, and we talked about that, but I do want to look at, and let's go straight to the rookie spotlight. I'm gonna jump over one, then we'll circle back. But the rookie spotlight for me, Khalil Benson. I want to see what he's able to do. I don't know if he's going to play right tackle, right guard today, but he's been getting a lot of praise for his performance in training camp thus far. Undrafted now. Of course, the question will be is, people touting him, but the question is, if he was that special, why didn't you draft him? Versus, so
won national championship too.
Yeah, exactly. So what? For me, he's my rookie spotlight outside of Cyrus, because I already talked about him. But what have you seen in training camp in Khalil Benson that is giving Chief fans wondering whether or not he can unseat Jalen Moore as the starting right tackle?
Well, I think one of the things that took place, and I don't know if you knew this, but earlier, like a couple weeks ago, or not a couple of weeks, but a couple of days ago, Trey Smith went down, back spasms or back injury or something, and they had to move Khalil Benson over from right tackle to right guard. So he's been playing the right guard spot. So I don't know if
that's gonna be a swing.
Yeah, and here's the thing about that, and it made me scratch my head because I'm like, you had him playing right tackle, why you got all these other guys that are actual guards? Why didn't you slide them in? So that made me think, like, I think they feel like he's their next one up, like, the sixth man, so to speak. And so I think if he's able to continue doing what he's supposed to do, he may be able to slide into that right tackle spot. But I know if Trey's not able to go, he's going to be the right guard. And from what I've seen, even in the one-on-ones, I mean, he's held his own. He hasn't been one of those, those red flags. He's like, he can't block nobody. No, I think he's legit.
How about like this? If he's starting over Jalen Moore, now I got to question. He's our guy, but I got to question Brett Veach because you invested $20 million in a backup.
Yeah.
I mean, because he was a backup last year when you brought him in. When you signed him, he was initially supposed to be your left tackle. You brought in Simmons, and then of course, there was talk. Okay, can we move on the right? Well, you already had Jawan Taylor, so now you're backing him up. This year with no Jawan Taylor, now the question is he going to be able to step up and be the starting position? I'm like, look, I'm shouting on the hill. You pay this man, X amount of money,
right?
How is he not going to be starting over, with a undrafted rookie behind, So if that happens, I got to look at Brett Veach.
And one of the things too is size. Like we've been talking the past couple of years, at least last year, about how small Josh Simmons we think that he is.
He look like Aaron Donald right now.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, he's gotten bigger. Like from when we saw him at OTAs, he's put on. I mean, he's definitely bigger. His arms are smaller. Now it looks like he's ready to play some football. But Khalil Benson, man, they got him at 6'6". He's every bit of 6'6", 300 plus. Like he's a big dude. And so if you put him out there at right tackle with him and Trey Smith, I know that side of the line, it's going to be some problems.
Okay, well, look, that's what we want to hear. We are live inside the Arrowhead Press Box. Darren Smith along with my guy, Steve Walls, here with the pregame cheat sheet. Kickoff is about 30 minutes away. You can watch the game on your local NBC chat. Well, I know they're showing the game, I think, on Channel 41 here, but also I think ESPN or the NFL, they're one of them doggone channels. But Steve, this question I was asking you before we came on air. Give you some time to think about it. I want to see how good you are because I asked Maurice Jones-Drew this, and he told me what he thought. But then when I went, he was like, okay. So who do you think is the biggest offseason acquisition for the Chiefs this season?
Kenneth Walker, no doubt. I think he bringing him in teams, and we talked about it a little bit earlier today. Teams aren't going to be able to sit back and make you run the ball. Like there's no reason that they wouldn't. Like you got a former MVP that's back there. You've got to respect it, And I really think that him coming back or him coming here definitely will help. But can I get a B?
No. We said what because you would not take mine. No.
I know what you're gonna say. That's what I was going to say. But honestly, Kenneth Walker though, I think that he's definitely he's going to help the team. I mean, that's what they've been missing because mine is Isaiah Pacheco's first year. He came out and was a firestorm. Like nobody figured that this seventh rounder was going to be able to come out.
Second season,
yeah, I mean, you had the broken fibula and then the shoulder injury, so that kind of took a toll on him. And then he was, no good. So we'll see how he is up in Detroit. But I think Kenneth Walker is definitely and Patrick. It gives Patrick confidence.
Facts.
Because even when he was asked, like when all else fails, I'm giving it to K9.
That's something that I don't think he said since probably Kareem's year in 2018. Obviously, for me. My biggest acquisition is the Chiefs bringing back Eric Bieniemy.
Sure.
And I say it because obviously when you say Kenneth Walker, I do not disagree because I think with Eric Bieniemy and Kenneth Walker, that's the match made him because of the mentality. Obviously him coming off a Super Bowl MVP, but for me it's Bieniemy because of everything that you and I both know has been missing these last 3 seasons, and I appreciate Travis Kelce echoing it in the presser on Friday, where he talked about accountability, and people, a lot of people just feel like accountability is just Eric Bieniemy just yelling at players. No. Eric teaches. I mean, first of all, he knows the game. He played in the NFL, played in the Super Bowl as a player, as a starting running back with the San Diego Chargers. So he knows the game. The players respect him, and and as a coach, he understands and knows the X's and O's. And even with his time away from here, going to UCLA, going to Washington, going to Chicago. I mean, we saw, if you want to call it development or whatever, being under Ben Johnson. And we saw what he did with those running backs. Of course, he did the same thing with Adrian Peterson when he had him as an AP Player of the Year. I just feel like with him back, on top of the fact that you bring in Kenneth Walker, it forces Andy Reid to take a step back. Andy Reid may still, quote unquote, call the plays, but the question is going to be how much more of a run-focused team will this be now? Because the last 3 seasons, as I said, it was always about Patrick dropping back pass, trying to get the yards and stuff. Bieniemy was able to do Eric when he was here. Obviously, Mahomes' best season was when he was the OC. I mean, they led the league in offense 2 seasons, led the league in scoring 3 seasons. Mahomes won his 2 MVPs when EB was quarterback, and they had the highest scoring offense. And that, I mean, that's when he was. I think both years he threw for 5,000 yards, both of those seasons. And I think his return again with that balanced attack that you're going to bring with Kenneth Walker. And Kenneth, even though they have other players, Emmett Johnson and others behind him, he's going to be the bell cow.
Sure.
And which is what they need. And so, he can catch out the backfield and stuff like that. So I just feel like Bieniemy being back. And here's the other thing too, we saw. With the personal situation that took place for him, where he had to be away for 2 weeks, we saw how much Chiefs Kingdom felt like Eric being gone was missed, because the moment he came back, or there was reports that he's watching the practice on the stream and calling Andy and say, hey, this needs to be and then you have the substitute teachers who I call trying to mimic, Eric, trying to hold these players accountable, whatever. But the sheer fact that Travis says that, he and others in that position the last 3 seasons did not hold each other accountable, and knowing that that's what they know that they need to do to get back on the right track, man, you can't. I mean, you can't buy that, and it's. He's one man, yes, but he is such an important aspect that I hope this time around Chiefs Kingdom don't take him for granted.
Yeah, it's the trickle down effect. You got somebody that is not going to let you just get by. And when you think about last year and the fact of them just getting by, I think that's kind of what caught them up. Like, you're just getting by with running back. You're just getting by with not having a legit number 1 wide receiver. You're just getting by with offensive coordinator, right? Like that was just getting by, and Eric Bieniemy won't allow you to just get by. Like, you see him pull Kenneth Walker to the side. Like, no, he's treating everybody on the same level.
Well, and not to cut you off, one of the things that we saw with Nagy, is, and again, it's a difference of who they are as players and coaches. He has the mindset of a quarterback, because he was a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So he's not. So the running game is not a focus, but also chumming around with your quarterback and stuff like that, where you're not trying to get him upset. EB didn't care, because EB's only thing was about winning, and perfection and getting stuff right.
It ain't right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like he jumps up, because what you do in practice is what you do in the game, and that was one of the things that we would always be, kind of confused about, like, bruh, I mean, like the penalties, and I tell people all the time, EB will bench you. Like, he benched Shady McCoy, which is why Shady don't like him.
Yep.
And that's, because if you're fumbling the football, you're no good to the offense.
Yeah, the crazy thing about it, too, is the fact that you got a guy like Chad O'Shea, the wide receivers coach, who we saw him during OTAs. We were right there while he was coaching, and he said some things like, man, I haven't heard this type of coaching since EB, right? And so when you see EB down there coaching, you see Chad O'Shea over here, in his own way, coaching the guys up. And it's the reason why he's had all pros. It's the reason why he's coached guys that are in the Hall of Fame or going to the Hall of Fame. And my thing is, you've got to have some guys want to be coached, some don't. If you don't, then it's kind of hit the highway. And that's what Eric Bieniemy preaches, is that we have an invisible sign out in front of One Arrowhead Drive, and it says now hiring all players. So with that, when a guy says that, it's like, man, I'm going to coach everybody like they're on the same level. Like if it's you talk about Emmett Johnson, because Emmett Johnson all the way up to K9, where everybody's going to get coached the same level. If you're not getting it, then you're going to go somewhere until you can figure it out.
Yeah, and he is a hell of a teacher, but a hell of a motivator and leader. Sure. And the thing is, not only will he coach you hard, he'll coach you fair, but but he loves his players, and the players love him.
Yeah, and I think he gets a bad rap for that when folks are like, oh, well, that's why he hasn't got a NFL job, is because people think that that's all he is. Nah, man, these guys understand, like, when you do well, he's going to be the first person there to tell you that you're doing well
all day, every day.
And then when you're doing something wrong, he's going to be the first person to tell you that you're doing it wrong. So he's going to give it to you both ways, and you've got to understand it. And like Patrick said, or Travis said, you respect it because that's him. Yeah. And so it takes a different kind of
man.
No, not even man. It takes a different kind of team to be able to understand it. Like you heard when he went up there to Washington. Players are all crying, and he's
going to their coach. Man, he coached us too hard.
Yeah. So it takes a different kind of team, and if that's what winning breeds, then you have to understand that. And guys had already, because I believe Patrick was asked about it. Like EB's coming back, would have let the other players know like how to, right. what to expect from EB, and he said that he's going to coach you hard, so be ready for it. And that's one thing I respect about him, is the fact that. He's gonna give it to you real.
Yeah, give it to you straight. Yep. Questions that you have for this defense this upcoming season?
Man, like I said, the secondary. I think when you look at how this team and the folks that they lost, I really want to see this secondary figure it out. Like you lose Trent McDuffie, a guy that,
and Jalen.
Yeah, Jalen Watson.
I think we got to see them after the game because they're here. Mm-hmm. Hopefully they're here.
Yeah, so it's those guys are definitely one of the ones that you like, bruh. you not here anymore. So who's gonna step up and kind of not replace them, but yet and still replace them?
Yeah,
because you got to fill those voids. And then secondary, I don't think Jaden Hicks had taken that next step that he should have. Brian Cook did. When Justin Reed was gone last year, Brian Cook stepped up for the most part. Now, a lot of his play when Justin Reed was here was because how Justin Reed played. And we've got to figure out who's going to be the physical aggressor out there, because, of course, we had Tyron, who was going to lay his body on the line. Now, you say he took some business decisions, whether he did or he didn't.
I didn't say that.
No, he did. After that one, he was like, he took the 2021 year. They lost in the Super. He was like, he's making business decisions. Some folks said that, but just neither here nor there. I think you need to have somebody that's Tyron-esque, that's going to go out there and lay, and Justin Reed as well. Those guys laid the wood.
I'm going to say for me, and I do love it. I agree with everything you said when it comes to the defensive back. But to me, it's got to start up front, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at Chris Jones as well as George Karlaftis. Both of them had 6.5 sacks last year, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a down year. Obviously, some of it was from injury, stuff like that. And then, Chris talked about, I chuckled and I posted on somebody when he talked about, he hopes Andy doesn't play the veteran. I'm like, bro, you had 6.5 sacks. You had no time off. Like, I mean, you need to play, Yeah. And so, you might have an argument about that. But I mean, to be honest, I need to see how they bounce back from last year's play.
Yeah.
Because again, if you can't stop the run, and obviously the thing that looked bad for Chris was when we was in Jacksonville in that last play where he was caught walking, and of course the touchdown went by him and stuff like that. So hopefully, I've always been in the mindset for Chris. He's always talked about he wants to be a defensive player of the year, and I've been in that conversation. My question to him is, are you willing to make the sacrifice? And are you willing to do what it takes? Because, there's a reason why Miles Garrett's 2 times. There's a reason why Aaron Donald was, 3 times. I mean, there's a reason why J.J. Watt was 4. I mean, these players are sacrificing, doing whatever it takes. Are you willing to do that? I mean, because, look, we remember, I think, Kemp last year where he jumped on George about, getting paid in the sacks or whatever, and then they both had 6.5 sacks in the fall.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do this. So for me, I want to see how those two bounce back this upcoming season.
Yeah, and then you got a rookie, and when you talked about rookie watch, I think Peter Woods. He's a guy that I watched throw Trey Smith to the ground.
You don't see that.
Yeah. So I dude is a beast, and Tyrann Mathieu talked about him earlier this week. He was like he's a mimic of Aaron Donald. Like, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, yeah, I can kind of see it. But of course, all of that has to translate over here. But yeah, the defensive line, I think Felix is being a contract year. He has to make sure that he's
said they're not picking up his 5th year.
Yeah, so. but this being he's going to hit the market next year, and so they talk about these contract years are undefeated.
Always.
So I think he's going to be another one. But then George, you had 10 sacks. Your was that your rookie year?
And I know he had 10 sacks a couple of seasons ago when he got the extension.
Yeah. So he's got to show that he can play some football.
Yeah,
otherwise,
like they extended you, but didn't extend
Leo
or Trent.
Trent. Yeah, you got Leo that didn't get money. So you got to show the reason why they paid you.
Gotta ask this, Steve. Because we don't really we touch on the special teams during the season, but with the extended off season, what do you expect from a healthy, well rested Harrison Butker this upcoming season, especially without the distraction? And we know what that was last year.
Yeah, he talked about the fact that he's practicing different. He's not just waiting on his turn. He's treating training camp every day like a game. Like he'll go through his regular progression and different things, and then when he goes in, it's time to kick. He'll come back off, do the same things over, and then go in and kick again and kind of work his way around when it's his time to kick. So I think we'll see how this. Yeah, of course, he's playing in training camp because they don't have a kicker coming in or nothing like that. Not that I know of, but I think Harrison Butker will be fine. Last year, I think it's just a bad year for everybody, man. Yeah. He wasn't the same. I mean, he was battling some injuries with his leg and all that stuff. So I think with the healthy Harrison Butker, I think he'll be fine.
And the crazy thing is, I always think back to the scene in The Matrix. They talk about causality. If Travis Kelce doesn't bump into Xavier Worthy in Brazil, he doesn't, and he's not out, that game might turn out differently.
True.
And then the entire season might turn out differently, where you're not 0-1 and looking at 0-2 with the next game, and you could be undefeated, or if Harrison Butker makes the extra point where the team isn't forced to try to go for 2 late in the game and miss it, and you could have gone for it. I always think about things like that. With L'Jarius Sneed coming back, he's, let's say, cornerback 1, cornerback 2, depending on how you look at it. What are you hoping to see from him?
That's interesting, man. Of course, he's battled injuries with his knee, man. And a lot of folks that I've talked to just, while we're watching him, while his knee is shot, and he didn't do anything practice-wise so far in training camp. And that's another thing, too, is like you don't have your, I guess would be your rookie cornerback practicing. You don't have L'Jarius Sneed practicing. These guys, the way he stacks his defense is built on camaraderie and knowing where your guy is going to be. Because we watched Trent, we watched Joshua Williams, we watched all those guys
from day one.
And they were put in there and thrown into the fire, and they made it work.
Yeah.
And so you got all these young guys. L'Jarius should be the one out there that's like, he should be the voice. Of course, that's not like he's just not that. But I will say, if he's able to go and be healthy, I think he can be the leader of the defense.
Yeah, he's going to need to be. I know we're running low on time here, so just quickly, because I know you want to talk a little bit more about Mansour Delane, just your thoughts on what you hope to see from him when he eventually gets on the field.
I want to see his lockdown ability. Like,
look, I saw footage of him in practice. He might get some flags for being a little too touchy.
Yeah, I want to be able to see his lockdown ability, because here's the thing: Trent moved up and down the line. Trent didn't stay on one side. He was able to go and match up with guys, and that's what a real DB is. I mean, you can put him wherever, put him on the top guy. Now I want to shut him down, and I feel like remember the big game when I think where did we go? Germany.
Yeah.
And it was this whole thing. And what was it? Didn't Legarius play that year?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a Super Bowl year. Yeah. So Legarius, I mean, you had guys that were out there being physical. Like, I want to be able to see these guys be physical in Mansour. I just want to be able to see him play. Like, show me you can play.
And obviously, look, he's under a lot of pressure, too, being the number 7 pick, $42 million contract as a rookie, and trying to replace Trent McDuffie is going to be a lot of pressure on him. Last thing, 1 month out, your initial expectations for week 1 with Mahomes, Kelsey, Rice, Worthy, Walker.
Man, I think it's a playoff year. I can say that. It's not going to be another year like last year. I feel like you've got to start fast.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Denver coming here on Monday night.
They coming with some bad intentions too.
Yeah, you got Denver coming here on Monday night. Now, granted, their quarterback had to go to surgery and broken ankle and all that stuff. Similar to Mahomes, having to go through surgery, a little bit different. But you've got to show the world that, hey, we still the Chiefs. Because wasn't nobody scared of the Chiefs last year.
Nope.
Well, no, you think about the Tyreek Hill years, everybody was like, oh, well, how? Until Tampa Bay showed how to play him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so that's similar to what the Chiefs did with Philly. They showed that if you stop the head of the horse, which is Saquon Barkley, then make Jalen Hurts beat you. Of course, it didn't work out how the Chiefs, but that's how teams are now playing the Philadelphia Eagles. If you look at last year.
Saquon was there that year.
When Saquon in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I thought it was the second year.
When the Eagles won?
Oh no! Yeah, well, no. When the Eagles, no. I'm talking about the first time.
No, I'm talking about. Okay. That's how. Okay. No. I was just trying to make a point that they gotta figure it out. So Denver teams wasn't scared of the Chiefs last year. So now you got to put fear back in folks.
We will definitely look closer to week 1 as we get to, especially the last preseason game, which will be 2 weeks before the season starting. Of course, that'll be here. Steve Walls, Darren Smith, pregame Chiefs inside the Arrowhead Stadium press box. Steve, I know we got some shouts we got to do. First of all, hello, Mama. I saw you mention, Steve's phone. I know you watch. Appreciate you watching. So that's your shout out for today. Yes, you wait. You got it now. Steve, want to give your sponsors thanks.
Thank you to my people over at Dillard's on the Rosa. We appreciate you guys.
Man, got $1 million golfing attire on the day.
Yeah, we appreciate you for taking care of my game day. Look, man, another year, another ride. Looking forward to it. Yeah, and just thank you guys for following us around every year, man. We from Kansas City to whatever stadium that we're in, and we bring you
whatever country we're in.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you guys, hanging out with us each and every week, man. We see you guys' comments and everything like that, so it doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you.
And, of course, this upcoming season, we'll have another season of the Red Hour. Definitely look forward to that because we're going to have some lively conversations post-game, when we circle back around covering the team. I also want to give a shout-out to Todd's Closers and Taylor Suits, styling me for another year, and I appreciate that because you didn't have to, and you continue to do so. I think this is what the Chiefs won 2019 when he went to Miami. So this is year number 7 with he and I. So appreciate that. Thank you so much for trusting me and believing in me for carrying on your tradition. And then also got to give a shout out to Gates Barbecue. I mean, that's where I'll be. That's where we'll probably Steve and I'll be post game today. But located 5 locations across the metro area. They are. You think of Chiefs football, you got to think of Gates Barbecue. So make sure you got your pregame meal, postgame meal, mid-afternoon game. So if you can't get there before the game, go there afterwards. But for Steve Walls, I am Darren Smith. Make sure you follow us on social media at Steve Walls KC, at Darren Smith NFL. I think we'll be back postgame. Just give you our initial thoughts, of what we see for the first game, and those of you all who finished the game, with a lot of backups, fourth, fifth string, or whatever. Join us post game. We'll bring you Andy Reid's comments post game in the press conference, and then some. Steve, any final words?
That's it, man.
All right, so make sure you follow us. Make sure on Saturday mornings you tune in 11 a.m. to the W Show on
100.1 FM.
100.1 FM.
Or right here, wherever you're watching.
Yeah, you can catch my guy on here. And of course, the ship with Darren Smith on Fox Sports Radio, KOKC 106.7 FM and 1540 AM. So for Steve Walls, I am Darren Smith. Thank you so very much for joining us. We'll see you next week.